Malcolm spent his final years bashing Trump supporters, but Griffin became what Malcolm warned against. Conservatives liked a black Trump supporter who made provocative statements. Karen Molina White, whom Malcolm dated on the show, later alleged that the network wanted to replace black actors with white ones. Malcolm defended her, but Griffin's unprofessionalism provided managers the ammunition to change. Malcolm's future relationships were shaped by the Malcolm and Eddie disaster. He wouldn't allow others' selfishness ruin his chances. That lesson determined his career choices, even who would attend his burial. Malcolm learned that some bridges must be burned after Griffin's conduct cost him millions. This early fight set a pattern for Malcolm's life. His determination to sacrifice his ideals despite losing money and opportunity. The entertainment industry wanted Malcolm to obey and be appreciative. He grew choosy and demanding, which lasted till his last goodbye. UPN executives saw Malcolm as another child star to control. They anticipated thanks for giving him another shot after Cosby. Instead, they got someone who questioned their judgments, advocated for better representation, and refused to simply accept their racism. They found Malcolm's requests for black camera operators, authentic narratives, and Karen Molina White protection challenging. Malcolm discovered something crucial about the entertainment industry. If you don't fight for your ideals early on, you'll give them up throughout your career. Malcolm learned from Griffin to pick partners carefully. His true schooling in building great adversaries came later. His podcast, Not All Hood, gave him a forum for hard truths by 2024. Open discussions about black identity became a declaration of war against hip-hop's top stars. Malcolm would no longer avoid troublemakers. He would publicly criticize them. I think hip-hop should outlaw both of those words because they're low-hanging fruit. It's simple. Everyone does it to the point of corniness. Malcolm didn't grumble about music often. He knew his targets and was ready to identify names. I adore some MCs, but can't listen to them anymore. I adore J. Cole. I got tired of listening to J. Cole, one of hip-hop's most critically lauded performers. Malcolm had just attacked a rapper with millions of followers and industry ties. Not simply music critique. Malcolm claimed record labels used hip-hop to make black people hate themselves. Media programming promoted self-hatred while made white executives billions, he said. The outcry was fast and severe. Hip-hop social media raged over Malcolm's position. Young artists and fans perceived his criticism as old respectability politics trying to limit their creativity. No public response from Cole. Hip-hop culture expects beefs and reactions, thus quiet sends a message. Malcolm wasn't interesting. He was fired, but Malcolm chose carefully. Like he fought Griffin's amateur beehives. Avere would later support Bill Cosby at great cost, burning bridges for principle. He trusted Tail. The language was beneath Cole's ability, but artists had responsibilities to their societies. Hip-hop criticism showed Malcolm's growth from Eddie Griffin. He challenged entire sectors and named particular persons instead of avoiding unpleasant colleagues. His enemy-making had increased drastically. Black entertainment was divided by generation after the scandal. Malcolm represented older artists who promoted community and conscientious messaging. Younger artists felt this limited their creativity and authenticity. Hip-hop fell silent after Malcolm's death. Many artists he criticized remained mute. Cole paid no tribute or statement. Nothing. Even after death, Malcolm's harsh truths would damage bridges. These decisions would inform his funeral guest list. Not welcome were the hip-hop legends he called out. Malcolm valued honesty over industry contacts, and his family will honor that in his final goodbye. Malcolm's podcast critiques went beyond amusement. His larger point was how white corporations buy and exploit black art. He knew hip-hop had become a billion-dollar industry for record labels while harming the communities it professed to serve. He singles out performers like J. Cole wasn't personally hateful. It involved keeping talented people accountable for their influence. Malcolm believed talented artists with enormous platforms had obligations beyond making money. The blowback for these positions verified his beliefs about how the industry behaves when someone challenges their profitable methods. Malcolm was only beginning to create enemies. His most costly loyalty was ahead. Hip-hop criticism had made Malcolm enemies in music, but his worst confrontation was yet to come. Malcolm faced a career-defining decision when Bill Cosby was accused. Who would grieve him publicly? This is unlike his critique of Eddie Griffin's unprofessionalism or J.C. Cole's paintings. The Cosby incident prompted Malcolm to choose between money and loyalty. Being loyal damaged his connection with much of Hollywood. I can't protect him, right? I won't throw him under the bus either. Malcolm went the riskiest route by refusing to condemn Cosby and defend his behavior. a subtle attitude that appalled everyone and made enemies. Looking at how the media is handling this, I can't help but think of Woody Allen, Roman Polanski, and Stephen Collins. But no one has called for Woody's movies to be removed off broadcast, right? Malcolm emphasized the entertainment industry's double standards in scandal handling. Roman Polanski was feted at film festivals despite evading accusations. Despite genuine charges, Woody Allen's films were distributed. Malcolm's claim pitted him against Me Too and survivors. He was unpredictable and couldn't take basic views on difficult subjects, according to Hollywood leaders. The financial hit was swift and severe. Malcolm lost millions in DMA and DEICO payments after Cosby Show reruns were removed from TV in 2014. Vice needs retirement security. Malcolm's money honesty was typical. He genuinely lost money by supporting Cosby. His honesty made him seem callous to those who valued morality over money. Malcolm contemplated what they'd lost from the Cosby controversy in 2023, 2 years before his death. A reboot could have made the actors rich forever, but Cosby's actions prevented it. Malcolm never regretted his loyalty. He knew keeping his job would cost him relationships, prospects, and millions. It fit his views about personal relationships and due procedure, therefore he did it. Cosby allegiance relates to Malcolm's past problems. Malcolm would risk his career for ideals, just as he had fought for his fiancée when networks tried to replace black performers and called out hip-hop artists despite outrage. 3 months prior, he was proud of what we discussed. He performed in Minnesota. When Malcolm died, Cosby said they'd kept in touch despite the controversy. They discussed a concert Malcolm was proud of 3 months before his death. That continued friendship showed Malcolm never left his mentor, even when it was safer professionally. Malcolm made more significant enemies after the Cosby incident. His behavior has changed from avoiding problematic co-workers like Griffin to attacking artists like Cole to backing controversial characters at great personal expense. Malcolm's defense wasn't about Bill Cosby. He refused to let mob mentality trump due process and complexity. He had seen how quickly the entertainment industry turned against someone when it was profitable. Thus, executives who had profited from the Cosby program were now denying it. Malcolm sensed the hypocrisy and refused to participate, even though silence would have preserved his career. The job lost him friendships with other actors, producers, and new projects. However, Malcolm had learned from his previous confrontations that integrity was more important than bank account. He discovered the entertainment industry's true nature with each confrontation. The system desired compliant workers who wouldn't question authority. Malcolm had reversed. A person who prioritized loyalty over public image and difficult truths over easy stories. This pattern ended with his political awakening. Malcolm's clashes with celebrities prepared him for his final battle, a complete rejection of Hollywood's political neutrality. He learned that integrity was more important than industry acceptance by defending Bill Cosby at great risk. Malcolm was ready to hate anyone who opposed his principles by 2024, regardless of power or influence. We're talking about Mr. Trump and his voters. You supported mistreating women and hatred. You can't avoid it. Malcolm was undiplomatic about Trump fans. He directly criticized celebrities and industry figures who supported Trump despite maintaining Hollywood's political diversity. The wake-up call may give our nation new hope. There are. The truth is pro-T. Trump supporters were unheard. This wasn't safe celebrity activism with vague unity posts. Malcolm made obvious moral distinctions and said supporting Trump showed character problems. The entertainment industry relies on consensus and market attractiveness. Studios prefer stars without profit-affecting scandal. Malcolm's willingness to alienate half the nation turned risk-averse executives off. Malcolm's political change made logical given his past confrontations. Eddie Griffin taught him that some values are incompatible with his. From criticizing Jay, he learned. Cole says speaking truth makes enemies, but also clarifies. After defending Bill Cosby, he realized that principles matter more than money. His podcast exposed systemic racism, industry exploitation, and celebrity timidity with lethal honesty. Malcolm raised unpleasant topics with white bosses and called out mute black celebs. To safeguard careers, cost was immediate and measurable. Fewer offers, exclusion from high-profile initiatives, and worse performers getting opportunities because they were politically acceptable. Malcolm found something beneficial in his disputes. True serenity. He chose his own path, married someone who loved him, and relocated to Atlanta to raise his kid away from Hollywood's toxic environment. Malcolm's politics completed Eddie Griffin's pattern. From avoiding terrible coworkers to denouncing troublesome artists to championing controversial personalities, he now rejected the system that had shaped his life since boyhood. Hollywood could no longer purchase, quiet, or control Theo Huxtable, the boy who enchanted America. That independence made him more enemies than friends in his parent company. Malcolm's political views justified Hollywood's quiet after his death, including that of industry elites, celebrities, and executives he had condemned. They were aware they weren't welcome at his funeral. Malcolm's political journey took years, affected by every fight and controversy. He knew how the entertainment industry made judgments, destroyed careers, and compromised beliefs for profit. He threatened those who sought to keep their operations covert by speaking publicly about these truths. Celebrities who stayed quiet throughout Trump's presidency to protect their careers knew Malcolm branded them cowards. Exploitative content bosses knew Malcolm had exposed them. Malcolm had shown he could identify persons with integrity from those without. Thus, his political views were about character as much as legislation. Malcolm had spent decades cultivating enemies for principles, leading to this funeral that would reveal who was genuine and who was exploiting him. Hollywood's reaction to Malcolm's private burial with a carefully selected guest list revealed the entertainment industry's true nature. The same individuals who ignored him for years wanted to publicly grieve him. However, his wife had seen him make enemies for beliefs throughout their partnership. Hollywood couldn't make his death their redemption story, she said. The social media tributes revealed Malcolm's relationships. Raven Simony, his Cosby Show childhood friend, showed emotion. Tracy Ellis Ross, his read between the lines TV wife, expressed touching memories. These were real ties, not advertising stunts. These folks had true relationships with Malcolm despite his controversial views and desire to make enemies. Even Hollywood's toxic Bill Cosby felt comfortable speaking about Malcolm's death because their friendship had remained genuine despite the uproar. The quiet was equally telling. The hip-hop artist Malcolm criticized was missing. Despite being named in that show, Cole did not respond. Industry executives who'd ignored him for his politics remained silent. Eddie Griffin wouldn't be allowed to the funeral despite posting a tribute on their business relationship. Malcolm's unprofessionalism cost him millions and validated his concerns about toxic coworkers. The funeral arrangements made the exclusions clear without his wife issuing remarks or ban lists. We welcomed family, friends, and collaborators. Everyone else would watch outside. Malcolm's cousin properly expressed the family's view, underlining that Malcolm's mother had left a legacy beyond his fame. That legacy would be honored at the funeral, not the Hollywood machine that sought to dominate him. Exclusions stemmed from every conflict Malcolm faced throughout his career. Eddie Griffin's unprofessionalism, Cole's quiet following criticism, business bosses who punished him for defending Cosby, and celebrities who turned against him for his politics were all locked out. Malcolm spent his later years believing his greatest accomplishment was integrity and peace of mind in his choices. His family's funeral choices reflected such principles. Instead of celebrities, they recognized fathers, husbands, and artists. They praised the man who had left conversations to stand his ground, chosen loyalty above job development, and spoken truth despite the consequences. Malcolm's funeral ended his criticism of the entertainment industry's exploitation and phony relationships. His family prioritized sincerity and genuine friendships over networking. Malcolm was himself in life and death, not what others wanted. He was finally freed from Hollywood's 40-year hold. The youngster who enchanted America as Theo Huxtable was no longer buyable, controlled, or silenced. His funeral guest list showed that some relationships are transactional and others transcend controversy. Eddie Griffin, J. Cole, and many business executives discovered too late that Malcolm's devotion was gained through respect, not necessity. Outside, they'd witness his funeral. Finally, knowing the cost of discretionary integrity, his wife and family prepared the funeral. They knew Malcolm's death would draw individuals who'd neglected him but wanted to connect with his legacy. The guest list went beyond admission, honoring the man who'd spent his career making tough decisions for the right reasons. Malcolm taught his family that some connections are worth keeping through turmoil, while others are transactional. The funeral would reveal who truly cared about Malcolm and who had used him. His family wanted to prevent his memory from being used by those who tried to control him. The video folks are done. Bye. The guest list would reveal Malcolm's career. This show ended. It's costing me money. After The Cosby Show was withdrawn from TV reruns, Malcolm-Jamal Warner never hesitated to reveal the truth, even if it cost him millions. Tired. My arguments with writers over their writing exhausted them. Then they got tired of Eddie's mean, insane stuff. Eddie is nuts. I imaged the brothers arriving late and doing that. On time, you say? Right, I am. The experience was awful. Malcolm spent his final years criticizing the entertainment industry. Now his family is preventing the same industry from profiting from his death. We're talking about Mr. Trump and his voters. You supported hate and mistreating women. You can't avoid it. Malcolm made enemies by refusing to stay quiet for years. He hurt co-star friendships and criticized hip-hop luminaries, and defended dubious figures that cost him millions. I can't listen to them anymore. I adore J. Cole. I have to quit listening to J. Cole because hearing frustrated me. And funeral exclusions weren't arbitrary. They stemmed from fights with celebrities who'd learned the hard way that Malcolm valued truth over friendships. Malcolm's concern began in 1996 when he thought he was coming back. After T, he struggled to find adult roles that matched his youthful stardom when The Cosby Show ended. UPN offered him Malcolm and Eddie, his own sitcom with him as the star. They teamed him with Eddie Griffin, which taught Malcolm everything about picking his battles. Even though we disagreed, we both knew we'd have a great syndication after 100 episodes. Hey, whatsoever we feel about each other, we'll receive this money. This will be 100 episodes. The math was straightforward. 100 episodes meant lifetime TV repeat money. Both performers understood. Both needed financial security. But Griffin's behavior prevented it. Due to fatigue, they cut us at 80. My arguments with writers over their writing exhausted them. They got bored with Eddie's insanity. So whatever. Eddie is nuts. While Malcolm fought authors to represent Black people realistically, Griffin was late and unprepared, causing confusion that offered managers grounds to change. The show ended after 88 episodes, 12 short of reruns. Although both men lost millions, Malcolm learned something essential. Griffin was a Black entertainer who made white bosses comfortable, chaotic, and unpredictable without pushing them. Malcolm was talented and demanding, but he refused disrespect. Years later, these men's distinctions were evident.